the microphone.
Okay.
How's that? I've unmuted everything, checked the speakers, blah, blah, blah. Yes, we're on. Okay.
Okay.
We're good?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I'm going to call to order the Unsafe Building Board. It's Tuesday, May 24th, 5:30 p.m. Roll call, please.
Mr. West,
Present.
Mr. Clevenger,
Present.
Ms. Ricciardi,
Present.
Mr. Ham.
Here.
Mr. Githens.
Here. Let's all stand for the pledge.
Please make your
Maybe.
fast.
To the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Faces up, that would be great. Thank you.
Okay. Everyone, welcome to the first hearing of the Town of Culver Unsafe Building Board. Tonight, property owners have been served with a demolition order or a partial demolition order on behalf of the town. Will be given a chance to present any evidence on their behalf in opposition to such orders. We will treat these as judicial in nature. Witnesses will be sworn in. Evidence will be heard by witnesses. And evidence may be presented in the form of exhibits. The argument of attorneys may be helpful in understanding the issues in these matters, but it is understood that arguments advanced by attorneys is not evidence. I will welcome the public's input. The general public is not party to the cause on the agenda or witness called by a party on the agenda will not be allowed to question or interject during the questioning of witnesses. After the questioning of witnesses, the public will be given the opportunity to comment on the properties or comment to the board. Property owners may choose to answer questions from the audience, but property owners are under no obligation to be subject to interrogation by the public in general. At this time, I want everyone to know that this meeting is being broadcast via Microsoft Teams and is being recorded. Participation in the meeting is your consent to being recorded and to the rebroadcast of the recorded meeting. Recorded meeting will be available for viewing on the town's YouTube channel. Now, everyone online and in this room, please make sure your cell phone is on mute during this meeting. Next thing on the agenda is minutes. Well, since this is our first meeting, we have no prior minutes. At this time, I'd like to turn the meeting over to Attorney Janette Surrisi to explain the need for the publication on the two cases. The board then makes motion to accept reasonableness of publications or not in.
Okay, so we had to serve orders of our demolition to the property owners, and two owners did not accept certified mail, and that was 709 Obispo and the movie theater 12 East Lakeshore Drive. And so under the statute, we made other attempts to serve the property owners. We left copies of the demolition orders at the property address of record. We also sent regular mail, and One of the properties, 709 Obispo, did request the order to be emailed to them. And so what the statute requires is then we chose to use publication on these properties just to be certain that we have actual service and authority for these properties tonight. And what I need is a finding from the board that we made some reasonable attempts to get a hold of the property owners by sending certified mail, leaving it on their door the first time, and that it was reasonable to use publication for these two properties.
Is there a motion to that effect?
I would, because the process of certified mail and regular did not find the buyers or the respondents to these cases, that we authorize and accept notice by publication.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion made by Rich and seconded by Bill Ham. Any questions? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Okay, at this time, I will open the hearing on each individual case. Is there a motion to open the hearing?
So moved.
Motion made by Sally. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Bill Ham to open hearings on each of these individual cases. Any questions? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Same sign. Motion carries.
All right, so we're going to go to our first cause on the agenda, and that has a cause number of the 22 CUB 001, our first cause for the Culver Unsafe Building Committee, 435 South Ohio Street. For the board, I would like to call Chuck to be sworn in to give testimony.
Chuck, please raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you.
Okay, Mr. DeWitt, as a preliminary matter, what is your position for the town of Culver?
I am the building commissioner of the town of Culver.
How long have you served in that capacity?
This is my second full-time year, and I did it part-time 3 years before that.
And what is your function as the building commissioner?
I oversee planning, zoning, unsafe properties, any questions that come up about building or construction.
And do you inspect properties under ordinance?
Yes, I do.
And you inspect properties at the direction of the town council as well?
Yes, I do.
And you inspect properties at the direction and the authority of the Unsafe Building Board? And you inspect properties under the zoning ordinance as well?
Yes, I do.
Have you inspected properties for other governmental entities?
Yes, I have.
Okay. Are you familiar with the construction industry?
Very familiar.
Okay, so let's go on to 435 South Ohio Street. You inspected this property, is that correct?
Yeah.
How many times have you inspected this property?
Over the years, been out there 5 times.
Okay, and you found the property to be vacant? And you found the property to be uninhabitable?
That is correct. There are, there's no gas lines, no electrical lines, no sewer or water.
And how long would you estimate that the property has been vacant and uninhabitable?
But at least it's been 8 years.
Okay. Are you aware that vacant properties attract vandals, children, and vermin?
Absolutely.
Are you aware of complaints on the property?
Yes, we have
What sort of complaints?
had complaints of the building being in disrepair, the growth around it, abandoned vehicles, and concern for the intrusion of varmints and vermin.
So you're aware of junk vehicles on the property.
Absolutely.
In your experience, do tires, leaking fluids cause contamination, attract vandals, children, scrap metal, things of the sort.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, is this property affecting the quality of the neighborhood?
Got it.
This property, well, vacant properties attract problem and endanger the neighborhood.
They attract children, animals, and just people looking for problems.
And the fire at 415 Lakeshore Drive would be an example of that.
Prime example.
Do you believe the property to be a fire hazard? Do you believe the integrity of the structure is compromised?
Yes.
How so?
There's been missing siding soffit, flashing, places where water has been the opportunity to enter the building.
Okay. Did you offer the property owner the ability to inspect the inside the building?
I asked if I could check the inside to verify that it was in good shape or not.
And what happened?
Said absolutely not.
And in your experience, when property owners deny you entry to a property, is there a reason for that?
Normally because they don't want you to see it. There's problems that they know they have.
Okay, so you took pictures of this property. Will you
Yes.
present them to the board?
Yes. This is a picture from street side. You can see the growth trees, everything around it, and still junk and things in the yard. This is a picture of part of the vehicles. As you can see, they haven't run for a while. Flat tires, you can notice that, see that very easily. This is another picture from the front side. That's a old boat. You can see the trees have grown around it. I would think that it hasn't been in the water for a while, just by that. More vehicles. That's a old golf cart that's been there. That's showing the soffit. Fascia is missing along the edge of the roof right there. You can look and see that that goes directly to the inside. Just another picture of things on the ground. That picture was from today. There's a dumpster there. It, as you can see, it is pretty full. That's from today also.
Do you have any other evidence or information you'd like to present about the property?
I don't believe so. Just, you know, been there many times. Property hasn't changed over time. I got pictures that are going back years. Property that I was not able to get to.
And you believe the board should affirm your demolition order?
Absolutely.
Okay, Mr. Cooper, this is going to be, or
Mrs. Cooper. would
Mrs.
like to speak
Cooper?
first.
Okay,
First of all, I
just
can't.
just a second. Let me give you a little of the process here. You can ask Mr. DeWitt questions, and then
And eye surgery now.
okay, and you
Everything.
can present your evidence, whatever it is, and then we can ask you some questions, and I'll want you to be sworn at this time. Yeah, you can both at the same time.
Raise your right hand. Do you, and the testimony you're about to give, the truth and nothing?
Yes.
All right, you may go ahead.
Okay. First of all, to the comments that Mr. DeWitt made here, what makes you think there are no gas lines or electric or anything that to my house?
You can see from the one picture that the electrical lines have been,
No,
That's
My
funny.
house
I had
is-
the lights on this afternoon.
my house is fully electric. My house is heated. My house is fully insured.
I asked to get inside, remember?
Okay. Yes, I feel like that is an invasion of my privacy. I feel like that is an invasion of my constitutional rights. Yes, a lot of this has been done. I have sent pictures to Jenny of the improvements. All of those vehicles are gone. The wood is fixed on the back. All of those things are taken care of. I don't know how you think that it can constitute, because there are some vehicles there that you think are not worthy, that makes the house not worthy. I don't understand that. And like I said, I am fully, feel like this is against my constitutional rights and against my invasion of privacy for you to feel like you need to come in my house because I have a bad vehicle out there. And like I said, Jenny, can you please show the pictures that I sent you?
And for the record, her mom was living in that house 2.5 years ago.
Yeah, 2 years ago,
2 years
it was lived in.
That
And my
was-
daughter lived there 6 years ago. So it's not been decades. Yes, some of those vehicles were there. Those vehicles have all been vacated.
And it's always Mr. DeWitt saying that he's been there 5 times. This
Never.
is the first we've ever been notified of anything. Ever.
And also, I would like to say too, that Mr. DeWitt has worked, my husband's worked construction for years, 40 years. And they have been interjections with the work sites and whatnot. And he has actually taken a few times to make little threats personally about our property to my husband. And that is very inappropriate. He's telling my husband, you're going to do what I say when I say it. This is the United States of America. It does not work that way.
These are the 3 pictures
I'm-
that she would like.
You want to tell us what you're
This
presenting? to us?
here is where all those vehicles were, that you saw that Jeep and that van and all that. That is the backyard. This here is where that was open. That's all closed up and fixed. My husband has a physical picture here of the back of the house where he's saying things to be seen in. This is, we had 3 piles of brush. That's just one of them that the town has picked up for us.
Sorry, my computer was doing something weird. There's a slower.
Do you have any more evidence or anything else you'd
Well-
like to state?
When I came down here a week ago and asked Mr. DeWitt for what evidence he was using to condemn the house, he showed me a picture of the front of the garage along the roof where he said it was all open to the weather. And this is a picture. And as you can see by the you can tell by the writing on that, it runs down behind the siding, so it's never been open. That's the teletext undersiding that comes in 4x8 sheets. So it's never been open. And that was the only criteria he told me that they were using other than the vehicles, and which I've been working on this. I've taken off work and the vehicles are gone.
We
A lot
plan
of
to
stuff is
continue
going
to
on.
make improvements. We've been busy raising kids and grandkids and our parents, and, our last parent died this last summer, so we started working last fall. And I feel like even our house that we live in, we started doing improvements on that. And when we started doing those improvements, we started getting some harassment from Mr. DeWitt. I know of 3 places in town that were doing similar things to us as we were doing. And nothing was said to those people. I know someone that had built a lean-to. Nothing has been said to that person whatsoever. But we were harassed when we were trying to make improvements. And it's just not right.
Any more that you have to say or present on your behalf?
I guess I probably should have brought more pictures, but like I said, these are the pictures of the rebuttal of all the pictures that you have taken.
Okay, but may I ask you a few questions now?
Yes.
Okay, so the property has been vacant for how long?
My mom lived there about 2 years ago.
Is the property uninhabitable at this time?
No,
What do you call it inhabitable?
I mean, we have the water turned off. But the gas is on, the electric's on,
We run the
The
furnace
sewer.
every winter.
the sewer is hooked up and functional.
The house is fully insured.
Do you have unregistered vehicles on the property?
No more, we don't. No.
They're-
Did you during 2022?
Probably a couple, but
Well,
those
I
are
mean,
gone.
they were titled in my name.
Yeah,
They
they're-
didn't have plates on them.
They didn't have, but most
Right.
everything had plates
All of
and
those
insured.
vehicles, all of those vehicles that were on that property, I drove off that property except two.
Do you have anything in the public right-of-way, street, alley and back that shouldn't?
Well, that's kind of a funny question. You can't really ask that right now because there's debate on the alley right now.
As surveyed,
So, yeah, so,
Yes,
Most.
the one picture he took was actually of the alley. There's
say
a,
most of that has been cleaned up.
there's a boat lift on there.
okay.
And we still, right
It's
now, we have,
supposed to be getting removed. There's a guy coming to cut it up.
yeah, we've got 2 truckloads of stuff that a guy is coming. We're giving him the scrap. He just hasn't been able to get here to get the stuff yet.
And why would you refuse inspection?
Well, because I feel like
Because
he's causing us trouble. I feel like it's a
We feel
personal
like we're
vendetta.
looking for something, for evidence to justify condemning the house. Because right
Exactly.
now, the criteria does not meet condemning the house. And I know if we let them in the house, they're gonna be looking for something to condemn the house. It's an invasion of our privacy.
Against our constitutional rights. I feel like there's a personal vendetta
The-
somehow between the jobs that they've done before. I don't know what it is, but I feel like he is. I don't even know you, but I know things that I've seen and heard. I feel like there's a personal
The-
vendetta. We can name, which we're not gonna do that to throw anybody under the bus, but we can name several people who, we know one person, their vehicle's not for years and no one said a word to them. You know, a couple other houses that should be torn down that are in way worse shape than ours. Nothing has been sent to them. 10 letters were sent out. 5 of those letters were sent out to us. I feel like we're being harassed. I feel like, yes, I'm the first to say we need improvements. Yes, I'm the first to say we've been on those improvements and making them. I feel like this demolition needs to be dropped. We need to be left alone. I am fully prepared to take it to court if we need to. I mean, I'm not doing this. We're willing to give, but we're not willing to be harassed and to be badgered and to be talked to in private the way my husband's been talked to. Like I said, we are willing to work with you and we're willing to do more improvements. And we have done a lot and we plan to continue that. But we want this harassment and this demolition dropped because I am not tearing my house down. We plan to make more improvements to it. And I can show you, I have homeowners insurance. I can go and get a NIPSCO bill that I can show you. I pay for gas and electric every month. I could probably actually pull it up on my phone if you'd like to see it now.
As far as what he was showing on the house being bad, that was over the garage. And I've explained to him several times that there is another roof under that roof on the garage. So anything that's open, it doesn't get into the house. The house is blocked with a concrete floor.
He wouldn't know that unless he inspected it, though,
But
would
he
he?
doesn't want to go in the garage. He wants to go in.
And it's an
Everywhere.
invasion of our privacy and it is harassment.
Okay. Do you have it?
I'm
Are you
sorry.
finished? Let's keep it to the presentation of evidence. Do you have any more evidence that you
Do you want
brought
me to pull
here?
up my NIPSCO bill that says I have electric and gas? in it?
It's your show at this point.
And eye surgery today, so it might take me a minute. Help me here.
to keep this on track, the next thing will be the board will be given the opportunity to have any questions that they might have answered by the property owners or Chuck and deliberate, and then we'll open it up to public comment. So.
I'm sorry, I've
That's
had
all right.
laser surgery
Let's-
on my glasses this week and new lenses put in, so I'm kind of.
Let's go ahead and move to board deliberation, and if you can pull that up while we have some board deliberation.
Any of the board members have any questions for this?
Or Chuck.
Chuck?
Yeah, I would like to know when the vehicles were removed, and
Oh, I can
The stop
actually
is
show you
putting-
a couple pictures of those.
I just want to know what the timeline is on the process,
Um,
What do you mean, what we've done, what we plan to do?
what you've done. And then also, next question will be what you plan to do.
We have been working on it since we got the letter, weather permitting.
Okay,
We've been working on it all of our free time.
we had rain 4 weekends in a row.
No, I know.
I worked
No,
lot
a couple of them too.
So, I mean, I've done what I can do, but the vehicles were all moved
A couple weeks
2
ago.
weeks ago, I think. I think I had the last of them.
The letter that you received was dated March 30th of this year. Since that time, you said you've removed vehicles and began to remove trash and do some other repairs to the house. Did you recognize before receiving that letter that there were problems that potentially made the house or the yard unsafe because of the vehicles and other things that existed there?
Well, I mean, the vehicles, like I said, all ran except for 2. And just because they're parked in the same place doesn't mean they never move. I mean, some of them are plated, I drive them.
The thing is,
But-
he has a company truck, he has his personal truck. He has a truck that he uses as push truck of the track in the summer on Saturdays.
That was in one of the
So
pictures.
that's like it's all plated and insured, but it doesn't move until, we have a dump truck that when we need to haul things, you don't use them on a regular basis, but they're plated, they're insured, and we move them and we mow there.
Are there any additional board questions?
My question is, what is your next step if
We are continuing to get rid of things. Like I said, we've got 2 trucks of stuff that we had at scrap and we can get with us. We plan on continuing with the shrubbery. We plan on continuing with our house. We would actually like to get it so my daughter will move in there. But we're just, like I said, we're working on everything that there's things that I plan on different things like that that's going to take a little time.
So for the board to know what you have the authority to do here tonight is there's an enforcement order in place ordering the demolition and cleanup. You have several options available for you for debate here. You can affirm the order in its entirety. You can modify the order to allow more time for compliance with the demolition, or you can modify the order to allow for repair and fix up, or you can deny the order in its entirety. It's your job tonight to sit here and weigh the credibility of the witnesses and look at the evidence before you and make a decision based on what you've seen and heard. So,
The question is
Yes.
what we're permitted to do. If an extension to accomplish certain goals were agreed to by the board, does the board have the authority to require an independent inspection to certify that in fact the property is habitable?
we can issue an order on the condition of an independent inspection. I'm guessing there'll be non-compliance with that, but then if you, yeah. Yes,
Can the board request a bond, performance bond?
no.
now the board can, like they were saying what they want to do, the board can say, you know, we could modify and say 60 days, but we need a list of what you want to accomplish within that 60-day period of time. Is that correct?
You need to decide what needs to be
Okay.
accomplished in that 60-day time.
Back to the question of inspection, is it, does the board have the authority to require an occupancy permit?
No,
No, okay. With the work that's being done.
no.
Okay.
Yes.
On his note about occupancy, there are so many houses in this town that aren't occupied half the year round. And then there are several that older people have died, their children live out of state, and those people still have those homes.
I get your statement on the on a broader public kind of statement about enforcement, but it's kind of like when the police officer pulls you over for speeding, you don't get to say, but everyone else was speeding.
Well,
Yeah.
this is part of our harassment. that we
Okay.
feel we are being harassed.
Okay. Is there any further deliberation by the board?
You have a question?
I've seen some activity there, probably on both sides of the street. And I know that Sam lived there, and I know that your daughter had lived there.
Yeah.
I can't remember when Sam passed away.
My daughter lived there when her child was born, and her daughter just turned 8. She lived there. Sam lived there after that. My mom lived there for a while, just 2 years.
Sam was,
Oh, yeah, Sam was before Destiny.
Okay.
yeah, Destiny lived there after Sam did, and then her mom lived there
Or
after Sam.
any further board comment?
Is there a remedy for someone, is there a remedy for someone that refuses to let the inspector in?
Yes.
And can you explain that remedy, please?
Yes, so we will ultimately go to the judge with an inspection warrant
Thank you.
and bring the sheriff out.
My question is, if the issue that he was showing with the heave is over the garage, why do you need to go into the house?
To assess the overall unsafe nature of it. He believes there's water intrusion, is that correct? Okay. Is there,
He also believes that it's not been inhabited or it's not got any gas to it or electric to it. I can pull up NIPSCO here, but the internet's not working very well for me to show you my bill that I just paid.
if there's no further board questions, we'll open it up to public comment.
Sure, Stephanie, state your name and address and
Stephanie Parrish, 1001 South Street. I
Swear.
guess I would like
She's
to
not
move forward,
gonna
move
testify.
forward with demoing that property. It's been an eyesore for a long time, and it only started to maybe clean up some things when enforcement was brought in. It's just my opinion.
Is there anyone else in the audience that'd like to speak?
yeah, Barry.
Me, my name's Barry Manaway, 443 South Ohio Street. And I have a question as a concerned citizen, as far as when you're talking about an unsafe board that all we're talking about is condemning for demolition. I mean, if it's an unsafe board, I mean, it sounds to me like, and I agree as far as the mess he's cleaning up and everything else, because you're doing this. But when it becomes unsafe due to certain problems that's not structurally insufficient as far as being required to be demolished, where does that line come from as far as demolition or repair? I mean, I know as a citizen looking out through town, I mean, I know there's houses been pretty well as far as how actually just repair. And I can see where you come up with the first thing you say was demolish. But there's also been places that are renovating a fix. I mean, you're going in, if you've got, I don't know when the house becomes where you could actually condemn a house without the findings of authorized person to say this is not structurally sound, it's gonna fall down, other than if a window was broken out and a child or somebody would have access, get in your house, get hurt, whatever, and a window's put in, would be the fix, not the demolition. And I just don't know the difference between demolition and unsafe, I guess.
So the orders have went out for repair properties. Some properties are clearly repair properties, and those are not up for debate tonight. These are properties where Chuck has identified that because of ongoing issues, he believes there's a structural integrity issue there. Now, if property owners want to present evidence that there isn't, that's theirs. And where the board finds that line is where the line is, and where a court would uphold that line could look here or there. It's whether the property is compromised and has integral issues to it. Uninhabitability would be one criteria. So vacancy is also considered under the statute as well. But the compromising of the structure is the issue here with the water leakage. So
Hold this up. We should
Go ahead.
show this here.
all of us,
Well,
mainly the judicial body here, you
All
can
right,
show.
right,
So
here's- do this, Jimmy. This is Capitol House. There, I just paid that. And,
Her NIPSCO bill for
yeah,
435 South.
yeah, this. Like I said, we heat it all year, or in the winter, it's got electric all year round.
okay.
It's fully insured. Anybody else want to see that?
Another, I guess, process question. Well, we cannot require an internal inspection without a court order to do so. If the property owner were to have it inspected independently by a licensed contractor, would certify that in fact, that they could present that as evidence to the board.
They could present that as evidence, but we need our inspector to actually verify that. And yes, you can make part of your order require an inspection, but what I'm just saying is you're going to get non-compliance. I'm thinking, but I would, as part of every order where you're granting more time, make a requirement of an inspection.
I have another question. Doesn't this kind of beg to have a professional engineer?
It would be the property owners to present information on this. Our inspector under the statute has the authority to
Okay.
condemn.
Okay,
Yeah.
that was the question.
Just so you know, the flashing that he's talking about on the chimney is on the exterior of the house. So if it did leak, it's going down the outside of the block. But it doesn't leak, so.
And the chimney is not used.
So it's not functional.
No,
It's
it's,
not.
it's apparently when the house was built, long before we owned it, they had wood burner in the living room or something. It's an external block chimney that I'm actually taking down, so.
Okay. Thank you.
Are there any other questions for the owners from the public?
Not for the owners, from the public.
From
The comments.
Comments from
Yeah,
from the public for the owners?
okay.
Okay.
Do you want to close this public meeting and deliberate or vote?
Sure. Is there a motion to close the public meeting on Mr. and Mrs. Cooper?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion been made by Sally, seconded by Bill Ham. Close the public hearing
When will we find
on
something?
432 South
We're
Ohio
up
Street.
right soon.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
All right, so go ahead. Open the floor.
What is the board's wishes?
Well, I would think that one thing that needs to be done is the issuance of an inspection warrant so that the building inspector commissioner can get inside and determine the condition of the structure.
I think that the inspection would be something that you would want to do after, if we allow them to, you know, if we gave them 60 days to complete their cleanup. You would want the inspection after they completed it rather than before they completed it.
It's, I'm pleased to see that there's been progress as far as cleaning up the property and the lot. I guess I'm disappointed that it took so long and some of the actions that to get that to be accomplished.
This is the first action, Rich.
But
On that particular property, yes.
it's the first action. And that was the gist of my question earlier is, I mean, you live across the street from it. You look at it every day. Did it ever occur to you, with the discussions that were going on, that, you know, perhaps we should do something about this?
Sometimes in life, you have to live first. You have to take care of your children and your grandchildren and your parents. And like I said, those have been narrowed down a lot. So we've had more time. So yes, we started doing this before you guys gave us this letter. We started building our new porch on. And then at that point, like I said, we got harassed. So we've been working on it on our own. And yes, over the years, he's gotten messages about the vehicles, but he starts them up and he moves them. Like I said, you know, he doesn't use every one of them every day, but he got rid of the ones that we don't use. Those are all gone. They're going to scrap yard. And that, like I said, that doesn't constitute a house being demolished. But yes, we're the first to say we've got work to do. We're feeling better about it, but we just don't want harassed anymore.
If the board were to allow a 60-day reprieve here, what specifically would you do in the next 60 days that we can write down and come back in 60 days to make sure those items were done? Do you have a
We're
list?
definitely planning on cleaning up the
I'm
lots.
going to write as you say, so, and I'll repeat it. No, I'm serious.
I'll let him say that because he's the one that's got to do it.
What do you want to do, Bob?
Yeah, I mean,
We're still working on it. He worked on it today.
Clean up surrounding debris, is that okay?
yeah. Yeah, I worked on it today until I came down here.
I understand, sir.
Like I said, he's got
What else?
2 trailers.
What
and stuff.
to the house, or what improvements, or what?
Well, I'm gonna take the chimney down that he's.
Take chimney down, okay, remove chimney.
As far as the water intrusion, that was never an issue, but everything that could have been is fixed on the
Okay.
exterior of the house. So, I don't know what else you want me to do to the exterior of the house.
Is the yard kept?
Yeah, I mow the yard. Every time I mow my yard, I mow that yard.
Just gonna have yard upkeep.
How often is that?
Well, depends on how much time I have.
And it depends on how much it rains too.
Yeah, it's
I understand.
been twice in the last week.
Okay.
So,
We have never had a letter on that yard needing mowed.
Right.
And then how about the landscaping that's kind of hiding the house?
What about those big bushes? Yeah.
Well,
we can trim those up a little bit, but I actually like those. They keep the house cool.
exactly. I mean,
The house in air conditioning.
You mentioned the boat lift that was going to be cut up.
Yeah, the boat lift's gonna be cut up and that'll be gone.
Yes.
Remove boat lift.
And there's the kids'
and those
old
boats
swing
are
sets
gone.
back there.
All those vehicles in the back are gone. Like I
Remove
said, I
boat
sent
lift.
Jenny that picture.
Yeah.
Remove boat lift, boat and all vehicles.
Yeah, the vehicles are all gone.
That we don't, other than what we use.
Okay, well, I don't want to put down something that, has already been taken care of either.
The boats are gone, the vehicles are gone,
So it's remove the boat lift.
the boat lift and there's an old swing set back there that
Okay.
my kids probably won't use anymore.
Okay, and swing set. Anything else?
Well, I mean,
Well, we give you 60 days and then we come back and we check and see what happened at the end of 60 days. Is that not correct?
With, it has to be inspected. You
Has to
have,
be
and if we feel like it needs to be inspected, like I said, we do feel like that's a division for a prophecy, but if it comes to that point, I would rather not have this man here that has threatened my husband and said things to him. I would rather it not be him.
Well, he is our building inspector
I know, but I mean,
and.
we are
you know,
willing.
Right, but we're
No,
gonna,
he's your building commissioner. Building inspector is the Marshall County inspector.
And we are willing to get a lawyer and fight for our rights. I mean, we're compliant, we're doing the most we've had time to do. We plan to continue, but like I said, we're not above getting a lawyer in. I know you're a lawyer, but lawyers lose in court every day. It's like, you can't just keep writing ordinances to go after certain people. And then, like I said, there's other people that are in the same vicinity.
inspection.
Well, may I say something? And I understand somewhat where you're coming from, but Mr. DeWitt is the man in charge. Now, we've made a compromise. And I think perhaps as far as inspection is concerned, you need to make a compromise.
Well, let's see what we have in 60 days.
So you have the authority to order the inspection. If that's part of the list Bill's doing, I would order it.
We make a motion.
Wait
well,
for,
we're gonna read this in a minute. Give them, if everybody's in agreement, I mean,
Can we stipulate that the inspection is done by the Marshall County building?
no,
No. Okay. That'd be none but
Over
right.
that. Asking.
Lawsuit.
no.
Can we specify that someone else accompanies him?
Can you see where I'm coming from? I mean, he swore too that there's no electric and everything because he thinks the wire's there. I just showed you where I pay gas and electric. So
I think the board is about to grant you relief in a fashion of not requiring to have your house tore down. But you seem to be unhappy with even the relief granted,
No, I
but
didn't.
that's, even with the relief you're about to get. And if you're unhappy with the relief that you're about to get, the answer will be to take us to court. And that's,
well, I mean, I just
yeah.
thought you said to order the inspection right now.
No,
no,
no.
at the end of 60 days. Let me.
I'm sorry, I missed it.
Yeah.
I'm still under anesthetic.
Yeah, let me read what we said, you know, if we give a 60-day moratorium, so basically till, August, July 24th. Within that next 60 days, you will clean up the surrounding debris around the house at 432 South Ohio Street.
435.
435, excuse me, 435. You will remove the chimney. You will make sure the yard is kept up, grass mowed. You will remove the boat lift and the swing set. And at the end of the 60 days, you will allow an inspection of the property.
Could I suggest you use the date of the 26th of July, which is our meeting date down.
July,
I'd put it one day before so there's time for inspection.
so you want July 25th?
Yes.
Okay. That
And
would be-
this is not an agreement, it's an order.
Right. Any additions or comments about what I've read to the board?
I would say that when you tear the chimney down, that any siding that needs to be repaired would then be repaired.
It's a block house.
It's blocked. Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's a block house.
Well,
Well, it's good. I mean, we gotta have questions,
Yeah.
so,
It's okay. It's okay.
okay. Rich, do you have anything else? William?
No.
Sally?
I'm good.
William?
Yeah, this kind of goes along with what Barry said. If we can repair it, let's repair it. But I like the comment that you laid out. I don't want to just tear down a house if it does need to be torn down.
Right.
So, no, I'm on board with the 60 days.
Is there a motion to that effect?
Make a motion that we allow them till July 25th.
Right.
To clean up the surrounding debris, remove the chimney, upkeep on the yard, remove the boat lift and swing set, and have the inspector inspect it after they've completed that by July 25th.
Motion made by Sally. Is there a second?
Second.
Any other further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
Okay, so we move on.
We move on.
All right. So now, next,
Let me make a comment before we move on. For everyone that's here that knows that this is the Unsafe Demolition Building Group, Committee Group, Board Group. We know that 6:30 is approaching and that's when town council starts. But we're going to go through this whole meeting on this before town council. So town council may not be till 7 or thereafter. So you're welcome to stay and listen, but just to let everybody know that this was on and this is important. We're going to finish this first.
okay, so we'll move on to 709 South Obispo, which is our cause number 22, Culver Building 2, Russell Flat Truck.
Yes, and they are currently online. Kathy, can you hear us?
Yep, can you see me, hear me?
Yep.
Okay,
If either of you is planning to speak, could you both raise your right hand for us? And do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do. I do.
Okay, thank you.
okay, Mr. DeWitt, 709 South Obispo. You inspected this property.
Yes,
How many times have you inspected this property?
I've been out there 4 times.
Okay, and you found the
Thank you.
property to be vacant?
Yes,
Okay, and you found the property to be uninhabitable.
at this time, absolutely.
Why?
There are windows open, doors, access for people in and out. The inside has been partially torn out, gutted. At this time, it's not inhabitable.
Okay, and are you aware of complaints about the property?
I have had complaints about this property dating back several years. And we have talked with different owners about that, getting it cleaned up, straightened up, and back going.
What sort of complaints are you aware of?
Just about an attractive nuisance, people in and around the house, and the condition of it.
Do you believe the property is affecting the quality of the neighborhood?
Absolutely.
Do you believe the property to be a fire hazard?
Yes.
What causes you to question the integrity of the structure?
With the openness, been open in the past, doors, windows, etc. When water intrusion, snow, whatever comes in, the weather starts to deteriorate the house. First thing that goes, walls, foundation, etc.
Have you noticed any impairment to the foundation?
There are cracks around the foundation that appear to be compromising the strength of it.
Okay, and you took pictures of this property?
Yes,
Can you go through the pictures in your testimony for the board?
yes. That is-
Gave me Lakeshore and Ohio. I do not have.
And we will not have current pictures of Obispo.
If you would like to, I can open them. Yeah, I've only got your 432 South Ohio and 612 East Lakeshore.
Reach my
Yeah, you could just pass them around on that if you want.
Maybe an adapter for.
Jen? At public input, you can. I've seen the ones that Chuck has, but we don't have them on this drive. Is that there?
This is 435.
Is this on the east side of Obispo?
No,
Yeah,
west
which
side.
is- oh, west, yeah.
West side,
West side.
where Akron is?
No,
No.
back up
It's a little
towards
further
Davis.
down.
North of that.
Yeah, north of that.
Okay. Do they have a retention wall?
No,
Okay, I'll just wait for the picture.
Sorry, I'm having some difficulty getting to that. Sorry, I had them earlier, but not finding them.
Yeah,
Pass this, go back to find it.
yeah. So,
Chuck, I'll look while you guys speak.
so you'll have to give us a description of what sort of pictures you took for the board too.
I took, the pictures I took were of the broken door, open door, broken window, of the foundation, condition of the foundation. And I think those are the major things.
Okay, and this has been kind of an ongoing situation.
This goes back several years, yes.
Okay, all right, so let's go ahead and turn it over to the Russells to go ahead and ask questions and present any evidence that they might have.
Well, you're muted.
Okay,
Can you hear us?
there.
Can you hear?
Now you can hear us. Can you hear us?
Can you hear us? Hello?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
hello.
First, I'd like to say I really apologize. It makes me feel bad that you people would have to waste your time trying to get us to fix that house. It's been a slow process for us. We didn't realize that when we bought it, but we have at this point, we've got when we bought the house, we completely gutted the inside. We removed all the old siding on it. We painted the original siding on it. We took out the chimney. We took off several layers of roofing and put a new roof on it. We hired an architect. He redesigned the house inside, what we thought would please us. But as of just like last week, though, we replaced the front and back door, and we have hired an electrician that either the following week or the next week will be there to put a new panel box in, and we have a fellow hired to mow. So, like I say, I feel bad, and I apologize. I think, I've talked to Chuck numerous times, and he's been very, very helpful and very nice, and Mr. Kleppinger, same thing. I sure appreciate him, and Jenny, I appreciate what you've done. So here's Kathy.
Well, I only have one thing to add, that we did board up that window, Chuck, that was open. So we boarded it up because we've got the windows on order, and we picked out some windows. The architect says, no, you need better windows than that. So we said, okay, we'll order those. It's been a rough road because, well, it started probably I think we bought it right at 2020. So I can't remember for sure, but I think that's about the time we got it. And we, of course, hit COVID and nobody was working on anything. You couldn't get anything. And then we thought we had a guy that was local to do the work. And we've been emailing him for probably 7 or 8 months. And finally, like probably 3 or 4 weeks ago, he said, I can't do the work. I can't fit it in. And so that's when we brought people from Lafayette to do it, because we couldn't get anyone that was local, which is kind of hard because, it takes an hour to get there, or an hour and 15 minutes. So that's.
Well, so I listened to the last people were there, and so we're very sorry, and we're going to keep on working to get the thing fixed up. If you want some deadlines or something like that, in the past, we haven't done what we said we were going to do, but we pretty much got things going.
Okay. Mr. and Mrs. Russell, are you finished with your presentation?
Yes.
Okay, I have a couple questions for you. You agree the structure's vacant?
Yes.
How long's it been vacant?
I don't know. We've had it for 2 years. I have no idea how long it was vacant before.
And you agree it's uninhabitable at this point?
It is, yes.
Okay. Can you tell us the names of the individuals that you have hired to do the electrical work and things like that?
So that's a good question, because when I applied for I've tried to figure out these permits, and I called Marshall County and talked to a guy there, and he said, you have to get it from us. And then somebody else said we had to get it from Culver. Well, I went down the line of getting the electrical permit, and I put down Houston Electric because I do know the Houstons in Lafayette. But since then, we have gotten a guy that is more local. His name is Kurt Wallop, I think. And he's a licensed electrician. I don't know if he's on your site, but when I went in to try to figure out if he was on there, I couldn't figure out what the list was again, because they only, once you apply and you get the electrical permit, you can't do it. So that's his name.
The fellow's already done work for us recently, and he's done a nice job.
He's done a really good job.
Okay, I'm gonna open this up to the board's questions.
Well, are there any other contractors or anybody that's going to?
Go ahead and ask.
Are there any other contractors you've talked to that is going to work on the house?
We have our own contractors that are bonded and work for us on various things, and we've just decided to get them involved because we can control them, actually.
Can you give us the names of those folks?
Yep. Tim LaFawn is one, and Jim Hart.
How do they spell their last name? How's Tim spell his last name?
LAFON.
And is it HART for?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, Jim.
Thank you very much. Board have any other questions?
I recall Mr. Clevenger reporting on this issue to the council over an extended period of time. And am I correct in understanding that we've had several deadlines for various pieces of work to be completed? Windows, doors, securing the property that have not been accomplished in the past. So we've gone through several deadlines already, I guess.
That's true. That's true. You have. No, we're deeply sorry for that.
And I think that some of those deadlines were before us, but when we bought it, I mean, life changed for a lot of people during that year. And so it's been really rough. And I mean, actually, when we bought it, working people that wanted to work were plentiful. And now you can't, you can look on every corner and it says hiring, hiring, hiring. Nobody wants to work. So.
Any other?
We're not complaining because it's like a bad thing. We've had the best 2 years of our lives in the last 2 years.
Yeah.
So, but just can't seem to get people.
Yeah, none, thank you.
Sally?
Well, if we did not order demolition, how long or how soon do you expect to have these people finish the project?
Well, I would hope that the electrician, the wiring should be within 30 days with the wiring.
And then
The windows, I'm still not sure. We've remeasured them. I think we've measured them 3 times. And only because the ordering deal was too long. I thought we could get quicker somewhere else. It didn't turn out that way. So I can't for sure say when the windows will get here, but that'd be our next hurdle. And then we pretty much we can get the
guys who do the studs and everything, we can get that right away.
Yeah.
Are those windows for the whole house or just partial?
No,
the whole
house.
Okay.
We've already got 2 brand new doors on there. If you guys want to drive by, it looks really pretty. The doors look pretty.
Do you have a written contract with a general contractor who's going to provide the carpentry services and the plumbing services? And do you have a contract with the electrician to complete these services and work?
At this point, just the electrician. We'll send our own.
Yeah, we're going to use our own guys
to do the plumbing.
Okay.
because that's been our problem.
Yeah.
We thought we had a guy that was a general contractor. If you could find somebody, we'd be sure happy to interview them. But we're bringing our guys up because, like I said, we can control them and say, you got to be here on this day and you got to be here on that day.
Well, do you have your own construction firm or how do you have your own guys? This is my question.
Well,
we have a property management
Yeah.
company that we employ people that are on payroll.
We've been in the real estate business for 40 years. I basically develop subdivisions. Kathy's a sells houses.
Bill, do you have any questions?
No.
Okay. Jenny?
I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
I started with the town of Culver as town manager exactly a year and a couple of weeks ago. Before that, I sat on the town council, so I'm familiar with this house. It dates back before you, during you. Do you recall about this exact week a year ago coming in and meeting with me and telling me that you were going to have the windows, they were on order, they were going to be fixed? Basically telling me the same thing that you're telling the board today.
I do. I did definitely say that.
Okay, I'm just questioning your credibility.
I can truthfully, I can understand that. I'm very sorry.
Okay, that's all.
The windows that we had ordered, our guy said those are not good enough. They're not going to work. And so that's when we had to try to find something. And then we thought that the contractor that we hired was going to do all this. And that was about 7 or 8 months ago. I can show you emails that I've got back and forth until finally the last time he said, I'm not going to be able to do it.
I guess just, I understand that for someone who's not in the real estate or construction or property management business, how dealing with contractors can be a difficult and challenging thing. And I appreciate the COVID last 2 years. But I mean, you're telling us that you're in this business, you're in the property management business, and that causes concern for me that in terms of giving an extension, and when so many other extensions have been granted in the past. I mean, I agree with what Bill said earlier, and what Barry said concerning earlier things, that we don't want to be tearing down houses, but it seems we've been extremely lenient with this, and you come into it with competency and experience in property management.
Understand that our property management is in Lafayette. And so we're now having to take, because we couldn't find anybody in Marshall County that would take on this job. And we've contacted you guys several times to ask, and you gave us names and we called all those names. And I think it was Chuck that gave us, who gave us the names? I don't even know, Chuck maybe. But now we've resorted to bringing our people. I mean, after you beat your head against the wall enough times, you just decide it's better to just bring our own people because we can control them and we can get it done.
Chuck, did you have something to say?
Yeah, I'd like to just add that I talked to Mr. and Mrs. Russell several times. They have always been very forward. I did give them the name of a contractor, several, but one that they had lined out, I know that's true. The windows that they ordered in the beginning, I don't disagree with what they ordered. Replacement windows. Replacement windows fit inside the existing windows. And the people that were advising her were exactly right. Don't put those in because you have leaks, problems, and everything else. And so they went back and ordered a new window with flanges and everything to go in. I just think that we need to get a deadline and get it set and move forward with this so that we all agree. They've owned the property since January 6th of 2020, so it's almost 2.5 years. And we've gone through the COVID and all of that. I think if they're going to commit to a timeline and to work being done, it would be in a positive thing in best interest.
This time we'll open it up for public comment. Could you direct Mrs. Russell? Anyone online for public comment?
I think we have one here.
We got one in the room.
Stephanie again.
Yes, Stephanie.
I'm wondering.
The question was, do you intend to live in the property or are you fixing it up to flip it?
No, we're not flipping
No,
it.
we're not flipping.
I also remember being at a meeting when this property was discussed and they put it on a new roof. And I think this was about this time last summer, if I recall, or spring. The contractor, someone asked the question in a meeting, were they even licensed in Marshall County? And I don't think anybody in this room at that time knew that, whether they were or not. Still don't know. And now they've put 2 new doors on. I walk by it every other day. The door was open. I can see that it's gutted. I'm not a builder, but I'm pretty sure getting a new door is not something to do when the house is gutted and has all this work to be done. So I just think it's kind of a joke, personally.
Any other public comment?
Hi,
Yeah,
Judy
Judy.
Campbell. I live at 716 Obispo. This house has had no windows until recently. It's been wide open for well over a year. They put some windows in, but not fire stuff and have propped them up. Some windows have been boarded, but I walked around it today since they finally mowed the grass, and there's a gaping hole. I think it's on the west side of the foundation that I think goes into the basement, as well as other holes in the structure, foundation, and holes in windows. I mean, it's crazy. Enough is enough.
Yes, Gary?
Chesterfield, 520 South Plymouth. Has Chuck been able to go in and inspect and make an assertion on the condition inside?
Yes, it was open to the open, and there's been complaints, so he has been able to go in.
So he has a list of violations or conditions issues.
I did go in. The walls are gutted to the studs. At this time, it appears to be structurally sound as far as the 2x4, the outside walls and rafters and that sort of thing.
But you've noted the foundation holes that,
Yes, that we still have vermin and rodents getting into the foundation and into the basement. That would be one thing that would need to be cleared up right away.
But it is in a condition that could be rehabilitated.
I have been in the construction industry. I have taken some houses that people would have thrown away and fixed them up. So for me to say that it can't be fixed, no, I would not say that.
Any other public comment?
Gotta have some pictures there from 2021. Chuck found his,
No, I didn't.
or if anybody wants to look at them. That
Does
hasn't
anyone-
changed much.
on the board, need to be familiar with the house and see her pictures.
I'm familiar with it, but would anybody like to see Stephanie's pictures? Since she's offered? Rich, you want to see them?
I'm
Are you familiar?
House,
Okay.
yes,
Bill, you're familiar?
Many times.
Sally's
About a
familiar?
million times.
I'd like to
We
see the
got-
pictures.
Yeah,
Bill would like to see the
Stephanie, Bill
pictures.
Ham would like to see him if you
I'm
don't
just a
mind.
little confused as to which one it is.
Your assistant. Hi, assistant.
That was the window open there. That way for a long time, there's no electric going there. You can see the meter base has gone, no incoming power. Those wires are down.
Okay.
Just a picture there. It's pretty atrocious.
Oh, boy.
This is flooring here is pretty rough shape. I think that's the greenery around it, but
How about the underlayment of the,
the foundation
no, the
on that
floors.
floor. The floor, the question was, what about the underlayment or the floors? The floors on the interior of the house are in good, solid shape. What's in that breezeway or walkway outside of there needs to be replaced, repaired.
But I believe, can I say something? I believe
Sure.
if you look at the plans that were, I think, aren't we, Chuck, didn't we say that we're tearing off that breezeway?
The breezeway's coming out.
Yes,
Thank you.
but the question was asking me what the floor in that area was like.
Right. And it's
yeah.
now, it's bad. And that's why we're tearing it out. It's going
Oh.
totally away.
Stairwell's upstairs. Is there any problem there?
No, it is a existing non-compliant stairway as far as today's standards go. But was built for the time and period of the house. And
Okay.
it is solid.
All right, can we close the public
I
comment?
move that we close the public hearing on property at 709 Obispo.
A second? Motion made by Rich, seconded by Sally, that we close the public comments on 709 Obispo. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Same sign? Motion carries.
What's your decision?
What would the board like to do? I'll start on this end this time. Bill? What's your
Well,
recommendation?
I think we have to have a better understanding of the fixes and how long they would reasonably take, rather than just throw a date out. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I want to have it sooner than later,
Right.
but
So do we.
I just want something that you can stand behind as far as the timing.
I think that if we give them time, and we've already given them
Yeah.
2 years, and they haven't completed anything that they promised they were gonna do. To my knowledge, other than maybe the roof. And if we're going to give them more time, then I say that we just give them a time limit, and they better get as much as they can get done. Or we condemn what's there and have it demolished.
So you'd like to see a substantial step toward compliance?
Yeah.
And
I'd like to see
that's,
some people working there.
you don't have to come up with a list. You can actually make your order a substantial step toward habitation and compliance.
The part that's rotting away at the back, that breezeway, you know, how hard is it to hire somebody to tear it off?
I find it curious that the doors are on and they're finished doors rather than just a construction door like the contractors normally.
They are finished doors.
What would they cost us?
I don't know. They're finished doors. They're very nice. They're
Yeah.
like a craftsman style with 3 windows at the top and the craftsman style door. They're really cute. I like them.
You know, it's just like when going back to the last, when they were taking, I mean, when you talk about work, I mean, as far as like getting there was asphalt shingles on the outside. If you ask my workers, I mean, they put a lot of work in getting all that old debris off the outside of the house and sanding down the original boards so we could paint it and taking off all the layers of shingles and everything, putting new shingles on. So actually, there maybe not look like it, but there's been a lot of work put there so far. But on the day I had the crew up there tearing everything down, I probably left around 3 o'clock, and I told them, I said, take off that breezeway. Well, they just didn't do it. So next time I was up there, I realized they didn't take it off. But we will get the breezeway off there.
Well, I guess my question is, why would you put a finished door on when the house is still not sealed up?
Well, because if my thought was, why spend the time to send somebody up there to put a construction grade, a cheap door on, if the end result's going to be, why just put the doors on once?
Yeah, well, I think you're missing my point. My point is that you risk damage to the doors, putting them in an unfriendly environment. And that's not the way. I've built a house, more than one house, as a homeowner. I didn't swing a hammer or anything, but I had a lot to do with it as far as knowing what they were doing. And I've never seen, when I've seen a final door, I did have one final door that they put on first. By the time they finished the house, it was badly warped and had to be replaced.
Warped?
This door won't warp.
No, this won't warp.
Yeah.
Let's
So
circle,
I'm just telling you.
circle back to whether the building's actually unsafe
Okay.
and what you're gonna do.
All right.
Go ahead.
Out of charge. Bill?
I have nothing at this time.
I believe you said that earlier in the conversation, you had an architect do some plans for you. I assume
Yes.
that-
You guys have them.
Okay, but I assume from those plans, you could take them to your contractor and have them give you an estimate for the completion of the scope of that work. They could also, we're not privy, don't need to be privy to the cost on that, but I would be willing to extend this issue for 60 days with the expectation that we see work in progress and that you have a contract with an electrical contractor and a general contractor who can provide both carpentry services and plumbing services, or however you want to have those done. and a completion date for the, bringing that building up to an occupancy standard within, and give us that date within 60 days. To come in and say, we've got 50% of this work done that was detailed in the architectural drawings we had done. And the architectural drawings, I'm assuming, would give you an occupancy permit. Completion of those drawings and scope of work.
So that's a little more than we can accomplish as far as the occupancy
Right.
plans and things like that. What you have to get to is they'll need to have substantial compliance and make substantial improvements toward becoming unsafe within 60 days. And if they don't have real accomplishments to show, windows, electricity, that kind of thing, then we're back to square one as far as, is it a demo? Is it a situation you're going to start to find them? That kind of thing.
Can we, I don't know how you do it, so I would say 60 days would be, we need substantial improvements in it, rather than sticking lipstick on a pig.
You don't want to have to be chasing the property owner again in 60 days. We want to see work
As far
done.
as I'm concerned, if it comes back in 60 days and there's not substantial improvement, like the electric in and other things done, then
Not
bulldozers.
not substantial excuses, substantial improvement.
I can support that too.
Could that include shoring up the house? There's clear access to the house. That needs to be shored up. Electric needs to be started and done. Plumbing needs to be started. I also would recommend that during the 60 days, they not receive a grass nuisance letter, which I have sent to this property, because, it's unfair to the neighbors who have been put in this situation for years now, to not see progress as well. And I don't want to keep having people come in and tell me they're going to do something that they're not going to do. So I'm just wanting that list to be pretty specific, just as you did with the Cooper house.
And I would also add fixing the holes in the foundation.
That's what I mean by shoring up the
Right, I
holes,
understand.
access.
But that's it in black and white.
So put it in 1, 2, 3 in a motion and go.
Tear down the breezeway,
One is tear down breezeway.
seal up the holes
In the foundation.
in the foundation,
Seal up.
substantial completion of electric, plumbing, drywall.
I don't know if you go drywall there.
That would be pushing it for us for 60 days.
I think
Especially
that's-
since I've been working on a lake house. I've been working on a lake house for 11 months. That is not me contracting it.
I got the
And
breezeway.
generally securing the
Put
building.
it this way, it needs
Trust
to be
that.
substantially done, improved, so that we can see that critters aren't gonna be getting in there. And if you can't put the windows in, then you need to board them up so that nobody can break in.
They are boarded up now. Well, the ones that are broken are boarded up.
Can I say, maybe it's not the right place, but I want to say, here again, I seem like I have a lot of apologies, but I had a guy mowing it last year, and he'd mow and send me a bill and we'd pay for it. I assumed he was going to do the same thing this year. It was only when I went up there and realized he didn't, so we got another fellow to mow.
Make a
This
motion.
has to be pending an inspection.
Oh, yeah.
I got
Yeah,
that. I got
yeah.
that as the last thing. Yeah. I've got the tear down, I've got, if someone wants to make a motion, tear down the breezeway, seal up the holes in the foundation, substantially done with the electrical and the plumbing, and inspection at the end of the 60 days by our Building commissioner.
To add secure building.
Yes. Secure the entire building, windows, doors.
Secure entire building.
It should be secure now. Did you say, hey, did somebody say they saw the front door open?
Yes. One comment from the public.
Well, like recently?
Last week when they put the new door on.
Oh, okay.
Oh, just when they were putting the door on, or?
Oh, in through,
Oh,
with just studs.
but the new door was already on?
They were actually physically putting it on and I walked by.
Oh, okay.
I wouldn't consider holes in the structure secure though. If children or vermin can access, it's not secure.
Right. I would make a motion that we extend this for 60 days with the completion of the items that we had just listed.
Let's make it July 25th, so it's a
July
day.
25th again. Okay, continue, Rich. Is that it?
That was the motion. Extended till July 25th, expecting substantially the work that is detailed to be completed and progress made toward the substantial completion of the entire.
And second.
And well, that was one of the things we listed.
I would say we need a plan for the remainder.
Oh.
We need a plan for the
And
remainder.
a proposed
And
plan.
a proposed plan for the remainder.
Okay.
This timeline.
With time.
Right. Okay.
Second.
Okay, motion's been made by Rich, seconded by Sally. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Go on to the next one.
Okay, so open it up for
Thank you.
612 Lakeshore.
Thank you. This is, I'll say this is the last time. Open up the public hearing, or open
Are we, this is
for Bob's Country Bunker.
Need a motion on that?
Need a motion on that?
So moved. Second.
Motion made by Bill Clevenger, seconded by Rich to open up
Public hearing.
public hearing on Bob's Country Bunker. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Carried.
All right, Mr. DeWitt, we're on 612 East Lakeshore Drive, the movie theater. Cause 22, Culver Unsafe Building Number 7, Bob's Country Bunker LLC, Thomas Ruane. You inspected this property?
Yes, I have.
Okay, and the main issue you cite with the building and your order is a marquee?
Yes.
And tell me about your findings about the marquee.
Well, as you can see from the picture up there, from the building to the outside sidewalk, that marquee is tilting down toward the road, toward the sidewalk, about 14 to 16 inches. Okay, that's indicating to me that there's things that are bent, broken, and coming apart. Otherwise, it would be
Compromised.
it's been compromised. You can see here where it's been hit by, I would assume that it was a truck, being that high up. It tore off the end of it, pushed part of the marquee back toward the building. This is the ticket booth. You can see there, broken glass, completely missing. There's just a board over the back of it. This is part of the wall structure there coming apart. You can see that that was the old logs that were there. And then the next picture shows that they put some plywood siding over the top of that, and that now is rotted and coming off also. This is inside. You can see where there's activity going on there, whatever reason, whether it's somebody climbing in there and having some alcohol and enjoying a good time, or whether they're breaking through the door or pushing the door plywood apart and getting inside. That I do not know, but
Is this the ticket booth or is this actually?
that's the ticket booth right there. Right there. So you can see they've been enjoying beer and alcohol in there. So, to me, and as I look at pictures of that, it was not in that shape. It wasn't tilting down in years past. And also, if you look at the overhead pictometry, you can see the inside, there's two steel rods that come down and fasten to, that's all that's holding that up, other than back where it's fastened to the building. You know, do I want to see a nice marquee being torn down? But I don't. Do I want to see an unsafe one come down? Absolutely.
Okay, it has loose metal hanging off,
Yes,
which is a danger in the wind.
yes.
Okay, and you feel that the property is affecting the quality of the commercial district down there?
Oh, absolutely.
And to be clear, that's a public walkway that we're hanging over,
Yes.
and it's barricaded.
We've had to barricade it simply because I do not feel comfortable allowing anyone to walk underneath that. The town has put barricades up there to keep everybody there. So if somebody's coming down the sidewalk now, you have to go around it out into the street. And if there's cars parked there, you go around those cars in the street to get to the other side. So it's creating a dangerous situation for people walking downtown.
Is anyone here for Bob's Country Bunker to testify on behalf of Bob's Country Bunker? Is anyone online for Bob's Country Bunker? Okay, then we'll open it up to board questioning and then public comment. Any
So I
board
guess-
questions?
Board questions would go to Chuck.
We're talking about not only the marquee, but we're talking about the front entrance of the building too, Chuck.
Yes.
Okay.
Ticket booth, just the
Ticket
ticket booth,
booth.
just the ticket booth, not the doors on either side or anything.
Not the doors on either side, but
Just the ticket.
the ticket booth,
Okay.
and somehow needs to be maintained and
Secured.
secured. Thank you.
I think all of those things are detailed in the letter.
Right.
There's, it was very prescriptive in terms of either repairing or removing the marquee and securing the ticket booth in those areas. I mean, I think it's pretty clear the scope of the work that needs to be done.
Ally, question?
I think it's a clear hazard and that we need to, since he hasn't removed it. And I don't know whether you can even contact him. He's not online to speak, and nobody's here to speak for him.
Right.
And we would just need to get someone to remove
I
it.
mean, we'll get,
Yeah.
let's, Bill, do you have any comments you want to make?
I was just curious when that happened. Truck hit it or whatever. It seems like it was recently.
It's been quite a while.
Is it like a
Yeah.
year?
Yes.
Year and a half. Year and a half.
Okay,
I think
okay.
it
Well, you
came
guys
to
are
light
down there.
pretty
You
much
see it more than I do.
They stick wind, didn't it?
It may be beyond the scope of what we can do and as the unsafe building. So it strikes me that this parking space should be blocked off and a safe public walkway created until this issue is resolved. Maybe the council
That's a council issue.
issue, but I think we bring that up there.
Well, if there's no more council questions, let's open it up to the public.
Can I make one?
Sure.
quick
Yes,
comment?
ma'am.
It did happen over a year ago. I did contact a local person who's handles administrative work for the owner of the property. I explained to her that we noted that this had become a public safety issue, that I was to expect a letter. And she said that she had checked into the insurance for it, that they still fell under the time frame that they could make a claim to have it repaired, because you get up to 2 years on the claim.
So they do have insurance.
Yes,
Okay.
and she was encouraging the owner to do that. And I said, well, you should expect to still receive a letter on this. I believe that they know about it because the owner posted on social media about pestering Ginny. So I believe that he understands there is an issue there.
Any comments? Lilith?
I was just kind of wondering, what they were planning on doing with it. It just seems like that's a big part of Culver history, the old wholesale theater, and it just is a shame to just demolish it. And I'm just kind of wondering what, if anybody knows what they had planned to do with it, or.
That's not up for discussion here now. What's up for discussion right now is strictly the, no, that's fine. Is strictly the marquee and the unsafe, part of it. That's what we're discussing. Was there another question in the back or comment in the back? Jesse, did you have something you wanted to add? State your name and address, please.
Yeah, Jesse Bohannon, I'm the local operator of Urban Street Pizza, next door at 14 Lakeshore. Speaking on behalf of myself, but not on behalf of the corporation. But obviously, that has become a foot traffic issue for us now that that's been blocked off, and I think that was the appropriate action to take. We're in a very high-class neighborhood other than that, and it would be, I think, beneficial for us as a business to get that remediated. And I think the suggestion that you guys have before us, I would support that completely. So,
Yeah, I think there was Patty Stallings.
Patty?
Living a couple doors down from that, we walk there a lot, and now we're in the crowded season.
Patty, what's your address?
506 East Shore Drive, next to the fire station. Lakeshore Drive.
Yep, gotcha.
East Lakeshore Drive, there we go. We have a really hard time walking constantly there around. Now, we did that wonderful, the town did, the water sewer system storm sewers. So they built up the curbs. Well, I'm short and old. Very hard for me how do I get there without crossing the street or stepping down, going all the way around? People are parking still right there. They're coming at us. They're coming out of the Urban Street. They're coming out of Lakeshore Drive. They're coming over across from the park. The kids are parking there and using it, and other people are. It's a real crowded place, and I have seen ladies who say the hell with it, walk right under the whole thing. It was a windy day the other night. She walked right under it. A couple of people walked around it. It's really dangerous. And how long can you wait?
Thank you. Any other? Yeah.
Carrie Cheselton, 520 South Point. Is the integrity of the entire structure an issue here, or just the marquee in the frontage?
Just the marquee in the front.
Correct.
Anyone else?
Move that we close the public hearing. There's no one else.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion made by Rich, seconded by Sally to close the public hearing on 612 East Lakeshore. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. What's the board's wishes?
Well,
I move that we had compliance with.
I'm just saying, I think we should remove that marquee as soon as possible and then figure out what else we need to do with the property. I don't know. Have you been inside?
No.
I heard the property had a bid and it was not accepted.
Is there a motion to affirm the order?
I
So moved.
Second.
Motion made by Bill Clevenger. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Rich West to affirm the order to remove the marquee based on the letter dated April 20th. All those, any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
Bill, I would suggest, and it wouldn't be a big thing to do, is to board up that ticket booth.
Well, that's in the order.
That's in the order.
You just approved taking the marquee down. You're done.
Oh,
But
but
the order, we got the whole order.
affirm the whole
We
order.
affirmed the order, and this is the order. So you're welcome to, it's public knowledge, you're welcome to read it.
Yeah, I wrote down the motion as affirming.
Right, that's right.
I mean, something could happen really tragic.
That's right. And town does not need to be liable. Anything else that needs to, is there a motion to adjourn the, unsafe and building board?
Second.
Motion been made and seconded in the unsafe building board. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. We're adjourned. Gonna take a 10-minute break and then we'll start the town council meeting at 7:30.
Reconvene if it's going to be the 25th of July. So, 4 o'clock.
Yeah, yeah, we're gonna have to.
Yeah, we, that came up, that's already come up.
Well, it's very interesting. I do this at the county and they last about 30 minutes.
Yeah.
Well,
They don't have as many candidates.
I think
I'll talk to some of them. I think, well, they got 60 days.
yeah.
Well, I almost said, this is the last chance. Well, let's see what they do in 60 days.
Yeah.
But
They can't complete that in 60 days.
Do we have a quorum for food?
Yes, we do.
Okay.
Just barely.
It's too much work. If you only name 2 guys,
right.
what are they all plumbers and electricians and they
Well,
do everything?
let's-
Or-
If they have their own property management,
Yeah, that's.
my question would be,
Yeah.
where have you been for 2 years?
Right.
I mean, that was my.
I know.
If you're going to do the trees. Why you can't, you can like contract around the road. Thank you. You know.
Well, the doors are lipstick on a pig.
Yeah.
Thank you.
But my point is, you shouldn't be doing it. They don't know if they're doing it.
Well, you know, we could, if somebody wanted to demolish it, say it.
You have a public record of how much I lost.
I'm sorry?
How much they paid for that property.
Oh, it's, yeah. It's on,
Yeah, I'm sure.
we can find out, when Chuck comes back, we'll have.
Yeah.
You can look it up, you can look it up. You're welcome. You're welcome.
I just want to know how much they're using. Just so we're aware. I'm sure it isn't 200,000. It may not even be $200.
Well, I'm guessing it's 60.
Yeah. Yeah, because that little one,
That's stuck in my mind, 60.
that little one across from us that sold to some Culver parents,